Hello, hello. Welcome to another episode. And this is an episode that I've been talking about doing for a while, and I'm really grateful that we're finally arrived to the day where we could have a yarn together. My very special guest today is someone that I've known, I think, for maybe over 30 years, which is a bit scary when you start to think of that. And that's Malcolm Smith. G'day, Mal.
Hi, how you going?
Yeah, great to have you on. I want to start by, of course, taking a moment to pay my respects to traditional custodians of the land. I'm on beautiful Wonnarua and Darkinjung land, and I think, are you on Wonnarua as well?
Yes, yep, just down the road here at Maitland.
Yeah, so over the hill and over the river, but also on Wonnarua land. So we pay our respects.
Actually, I'm not sure, but I think a Wobble might span up to this way, and
Okay.
I'm not sure where Wobble and One Row actually meet, but it wouldn't be too far off.
Yeah, great. And
Mm.
so Malcolm, someone as a guest, is someone that I call a friend, also a colleague, and also someone that I look up to in some of his heritage and some of the things that we're going to talk about today in regards to his leadership in more ways than just business. So why don't we go right back to the beginning? And we met when we both lived on a Wabikal land, and we actually went to school together. So tell us a little bit about your early upbringing and what your upbringing was like as a child.
Well, it was pretty good. Mum and Dad, they done the best they could back in their day, and like my father started up one of the first Indigenous companies in Australia, one of the first, I should say, and that was called Smith General Contracting. And their depot used to be in at Lambton Road, um, Griffiths Road, Lambton.
Mm-hmm.
And they laid all the railway tracks for Port Waratah. They done the zigzag down at Lithgow for the tunnels. They done part of the Glanville disaster. They had roughly over 150 odd men working for them. And back then, Dad didn't worry about what nationality they was from. He used to, as long as they could throw a 9 pound sledgehammer, they had a job.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, he used to do a bit of boxing back in his day as well. So he'd be up training, and Mum would used to hose him off at 4 o'clock in the morning with the hose when he'd come back from training, jogging. Then he'd go down to work and start work at 6 o'clock in the morning, with the railway. But with my upbringing, Dad, they built their first house. They bought their land and built their first house at 57 William Street, Tarawa. And and his sister next door, they built their home there next door as well, William Street. Went to Tarawa Public School, and then, as you know, went to Boorga High, which is now called Leighton Quarry.
Yeah.
So I had a pretty good upbringing. So we didn't do it hard or nothing, because Dad done it hard because he was out doing the hard yards with work and stuff like that as well. And Mum, she was also working as well. So my upbringing was pretty good. Played footy all my life. Our culture started at a young age where we knew about our culture, and where we where our sites and stories and all that are, and where our background and that comes from. But
Yeah.
yes.
Yes. And I love hearing the stories of people and having known your dear dad, Uncle Bill, who's now passed over. What a great shaping of having discipline and having goals and focusing on improving yourself that he must have been in shaping your life.
Yeah, he played a big part, in getting up, getting off your backside and going working and that type of stuff. You know what I mean? Not sitting back and doing handouts and getting handouts, that type of stuff. Dad was always, his family was a worker from day dot. He only went to sixth class
Mm-hmm.
up at Walbrook, which is up in between Bendemeer and Walbrook, up
Right.
Tamworth Way. That's where he grew up, and he only went year six, and he done year six twice, and then he was out working on the land, dipping sheep and breaking horses and that in, and moving cattle from yard to yard and that type of stuff. And then, like I was saying, back in, I think it was 1955 or somewhere around there, they moved down this way, to Talara, and they had their own home at Talara there, and that's when they started up Smithfield contracting railway business, and then everything went from there. And and all my family, my sisters and my brothers were all born at Maitland Hospital. I was born down at Western Suburbs in Newcastle. But yeah, so it's always been a discipline, and same as with the footy, mum and dad was there for me footy. My brother, always looked up to my brother. He was my legend in my eyes. And now we're like best mates with my brother, and he helped me with my footy career too, because I went in the Knights system for a while there, and then down to Parramatta, then back home and played local league around Newcastle.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can see your friendship today with Edward, and the friendly banter that you pair always have, having a rib at each other and that sort of thing. Yeah, he's a good man too. I have fond memories even at school. We were probably in different classes, and I know you were one of the cool football crew, and I think you had a bit of a nickname for me.
Oh, I can't remember.
Straighty 180.
Right, that's right. Yeah, Straighty 180.
You call me Straighty 180 because I was like,
you was up there in all the Straighty 180 classes where, if I would have put my head down a little bit, you could have been somewhere near, but no, I wasn't. I was sort of the back here a bit. But yeah, you was always, Straighty 180.
Yeah, focused
all them top classes right through school.
Studying and all of that.
But the head down.
Yeah, I really remember though, we all were a good year that kind of all mucked in together, even though we had our little groups and those sorts of things where we sat. We were really lucky to have a school right near the lake, and we had a beautiful view of the lake at our lunchtimes and those sorts of things. But I can still remember that if anyone was getting kind of picked on or bullied or anything that was a bit uncalled for, when we were at PE or sport or something like that, you were always one of those people who would say, hey, cut it out, stop having a go, that'll do, kind of. And
I don't know, it's the way Dad's brought me up, and Mum, I suppose, and Mum as well, it's just about everyone getting on. There's no reason for people not to be getting on. And the people that cross that line and go that little bit far, well, you need to pull them up every now and then. We're up. There's no need to be doing that, you know what I mean? And when they look back, even like being at the age we are now, and they look back, they would be thinking, why did I do that?
Yes.
Now, what did I pick on that kid for? Why did I put him through all that when there was no need to put that child or whoever that was at the time through, But it was more peer pressure and the little groups they hung about, you know what I mean? And 9 times out of 10, none of it needed to happen.
Yes. So I really always kind of admired that you were willing to speak up and to kind of, break up anything where people were having disputes. And so early on, you could see some of the values, I guess, of your mum and dad coming through in what you did. And I think showing some leadership in your sport. And I know you and Edward trained really hard and would run and go to the baths every day. And so, you were fit and healthy and took care of your mates and those sorts of things as well.
Well, when I was in the Knights, I was still at school there. My brother and my father, we used to go to Spears Point. They used to put me little training sessions over there. So we do 10 laps around the soccer fields. Then me and my brother, we do 100-metre sprints. Dad he'd be still walking around while we're doing all that. Then we go over to Spears Point Learners Pool, and then we used to jog in the Learners Pool backwards, forwards, sideways, upwards, and then finish off with 10 laps in the big pool, and then go home, get ready, and go to school. Wow. So that was my daily routine before I went to high school, and that was my way of trying to do that little bit of 1% extra stuff than just training on a Tuesday and Thursday with the Knights.
Right. Yeah. Just to kind of raise the bar. And you can see now that, we're in our 50s and that you're still fit and healthy. And so obviously health and well-being has been a priority for you over life.
Yeah, I know what it is. After we lost Dad in 2021, I just sort of looked at my life and I needed to pick it up a bit better than the way I was. So now every day off, like I still work in the mines. I've been in the mines 25 years this September. on the 10th. Yep, this month. And now I just train twice a day, every day I'm off. I can't help it now. I just love it. It's all about, longevity, eating healthier, fasting, and trying to help other people that I talk to at the gym or in life, friends, family. I'm always trying to push them and promote, have a look at this, try this out, that type of stuff. Because people look at me now and they say, "Oh, mate, you're inspiration to, to us followers and stuff like that." And I don't mean to. I don't go out to try to do that. It's just me being me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I try to push people down that path.
Right. And so a few years ago, we kind of caught back up a number of years ago. We ran into each other and kind of were like, "Oh, what are you up to? What are you up to?" And sadly, I think both my mum and your dad passed very much around the same week. And so we actually saw each other at hospital a bit during that time.
At the John Hunter Hospital, I ran into you.
Yeah.
That was blew me away. I was like going back in time. We haven't seen one other since high school, I think it was.
Yes.
It was the last time we ran into one other, and then we got talking from there, and then I think from that things sort of grew. We sort of kept in touch after that, and then that's where Yakuway sort of sprang from. The seed was dropped, and yourself, Tracy Brown, and my brother Edward, and I, we had that first meeting at the junction, and then Yakuway sort of slowly grew from there, and it's still growing, and it will keep growing. And that's all like as you know, it's all for the good. It's a not for profit, and it's all about community. It's not about just Indigenous community. It's about the community as a whole, on what we can do together to live a happier, healthier, safer life in that community. Yeah.
And so for a number of years, while I've been in corporate and government, I had the privilege and pleasure of working with Uncle Bill, your dad, on a number of occasions, doing welcome to countries, being involved in community consultation for things. And then later, I guess I went through a bit of a life change, kind of like you did with him, and the realization that I've only got one body and my stress levels were too high. And I went on a bit of a path and discovered yoga therapy and started, practicing yoga daily, learning about my body type and what food is better for me and those sorts of things. And so when we caught up again, it was a bit like we had all this common stuff that we'd been looking into and researching, and that's sort of where Yakuway was born. And it was born out of wanting to honor Uncle Bill's amazing contribution, but also I think build on that, and you and Edward and your family as next generation going, what can we do to support wellbeing? So for those who are listening, Yakuway is a not-for-profit, as Malcolm said. You can look it up, yakuway.com.au. And I'm really honoured to be a board member on Yakuway, and we're really looking to improve the health and wellbeing of communities in areas where there's not necessarily great resources or great services available, where elders and community and people are actually living. And so helping them have holistic well-being. And maybe you could tell us a bit about what Yakuway, the word, means.
Yakuway stands for taking care. So in other words, taking care of our community, taking care of your tribe. And just a little bit back with yourself and I, with your yoga therapy side of things, just to let people know, I used to be 94 kilos, and I thought I was all right at 94 kilos, and I sat with AJ for roughly, say, an hour and a half, nearly 2 hours, and she worked out what my body type was, and she goes, "Mal, this is your body type, this is what you should be eating, and this is what you should be eating." And I went from 94 kilos down to 83, and now I've only weighed myself today. I've not now gone back up to 90, but I've gone back up to 90
with muscle
in better shape than I was. Yes. Yeah. I've cut all that other stuff out of my life, and that's only eating a portion of what you said I should be eating. And going back to Yakuway now, and what I was talking about with the AJ, with her yoga therapist side, Yakuway is looking to do the similar sort of thing, but with our elders, where we can look at doing their individual diets for what they should be eating for their body types, because we all say we eat healthy, but once we start eating what we should be eating, like you've done for me, well, then now my body's gotten healthy from the inside out. So we want to look at doing that with our elders, so they're not skimming from week to week on what they should be, what they shouldn't be eating, but it should be on what they should be eating.
Or eating lots of processed foods, or just things that are inflammatory for their themselves. And I think it goes beyond just eating too, doesn't it? Because you and Edward and your father have a really deeply ingrained spiritual side in your connection to country and the law that you practice. And I appreciate some of that's men's business, and so no need to divulge anything, but maybe you can just share how that's been woven through your life and how important the principles of that are a part of what's founded Yakuway as well.
Well, just go back a little bit further. When Dad and his brothers, they owned Smith General Contracting, the railway, they then started up a company called, not-for-profit, called Wellbeing Co-op. And that was originally supposed to be opened up and started at the Lake Macquarie area, because that's where Dad and his brothers and the family all lived out there. But Dad was good friends with Olivia Newton-John's father at the time, who was the Vice Chancellor of Newcastle Uni. And he offered them a building on office space in there. So they went into there, and then Awabakal eventually stayed in Newcastle Way from then onwards. But with Yakuway, my brother and myself and you and Tracy, we're looking to do it out of Lake Macquarie, because there's over 4,500 Indigenous people out that way that ain't getting serviced. So that's where we're looking to go with Yakuway. But with back to my culture, I went through my culture, my first stage of law at 16. I'm now 51, and he went through one of my last stages with my dad. Would have been in 2001, but our culture has always been in our family from day dot, and that'll never go anywhere else. We'll keep that alive and breathing. So there's a few different stages that I've been through, initiations and stuff like that, and got my initiation, scars and marks, what I should have, and across my chest, and they represent the different levels of Aboriginal law I've been through. It's just like, I suppose when you go to uni to be a lawyer, you've got different levels you go through to be a lawyer, and then go up the chain in the law system.
So the LORE is similar in a way to LAW in its ranks and levels. And I know that it's a very deep philosophy, and I really observe that in yourself, your family, and other elders that I've had the privilege to walk with or spend time with, is the importance of family and your tribe, and how you're a dad and you're a granddad as well, right? You've beaten me in that regard. But you've got your own tribe, your little bloodline family tribe, but you're also very responsible, aren't you, around community and your aunts and uncles and cousins, and how important the mob is, I guess, rather than just as many Western families are just their immediate family.
Yeah, it goes back to the respect that Dad gained in the community over the years, and that's sort of passed on to my brothers, my sisters, and stuff like that, where we're now sort of following Dad's footsteps, but also continuing his footsteps. You know what I mean? So even though his footsteps may have stopped, but we're continuing them on for him through the culture and through Yakuway, and also looking after our community, because Dad was not all about me. He was all about everyone, the community. What can we do together, about achieving a lot of things that we could achieve together as a community.
And I know your eldest sister, because you're the baby, right? Your eldest sister, Cheryl, has taken on a lot of the welcome to countries and a lot of the formal kind of side of what your dad did.
Well, she used to drive Dad around in the late days there before he passed, and she used to go to a lot of the welcome and smoking and acknowledgement countries with him, and so she picked a lot of that up. And my brother and I and my sister Carol, we thought we don't step into that them shoes. We leave that with Cheryl, because Cheryl was the one, she'd been there with Dad and done all that stuff. Where Ed and I could very easily done it, but we thought as the family that Cheryl, that's her one little thing that she does now. And that's her role now in our family. So she does a lot of that,
which is beautiful.
And so we turn to her for that ourselves. Yeah,
wonderful. Yeah, and she does it so well with your cousin Raymond as well.
Raymond,
he does a lot with her as well. And I think on that note, one of the things I wanted to bring here, because a lot of the people that tune in here are interested in leadership and are leading companies and organizations, is what I really loved about Uncle Bill's message, and what I see in all of you as his family and descendants, is that whole concept of walking together, and that it isn't us and them, or these people over there and those people. It really is about true reconciliation, which literally is, let's sit down and get to know each other and let's walk together.
Yeah, and it's like I've said it before, like Dad's never been a person about me. He's always been about everyone. And what I mean by everyone, he means every walk of life, every culture. Doesn't matter what background they're from or where they're from. We're all here in Australia. We need to live together and get on together and do things together that benefits everyone, not just one minority group over there, but everyone. And that's the way we're able to continue on and want to do ourselves is whatever we can do for this community where we live in up here in Newcastle.
Yes.
That, let's do it.
And I think where we see world events happening in America and other countries at the moment, if only we had elders like Uncle Bill everywhere, kind of really spreading that, because he really did come from a place of love and care, and he always took time. You always felt like he heard you and would sit with you and would really tune in to you.
Yeah, sometimes you had to pull him up because he kept talking. So he loved talking. Don't get me wrong.
He loved a yarn.
When we used to go with him, to do smoking ceremonies or stuff like that, they'd say to us, Unc, or to me and Edward, we've got 5 minutes or 10 minutes, and then we've got other people that got to come on the stage or whatever. He'd keep going.
Yeah, 1 hour later, they're like, oh.
Yeah, me and Edward said, look at it with Dad, or we get the clapsticks and we'd clap them or something like that. We'll give him a sign to finish up.
Yeah.
And sometimes, because he'd have clapsticks in his hand, he'd hit them hard himself and look over, and then he'd just keep going. He'd keep talking. But he used to have everyone to text. They all loved him. Like but because me and Edward was told, or he was told to say, I've got a certain time. In Dad's eyes, there's no time.
There's no time. That's right.
There's no time with this. Yeah.
He's on the cycle of nature. He wasn't running to a
clock.
Right.
Yeah. He'd never run to a clock.
Let's come back to Yakuway and thinking about that leadership, and thinking about where you want to take Yakuway. What are some of the things, because you're the chairperson of the board, what are some of the activities or workshops and things that have already happened under Yakuway?
Well, the first one that we achieved and received from Aboriginal Affairs was a grant from them to do men's mental health. So we've run a few programs for men's mental health, out on country, a couple of day ones here and there. So they're all going pretty good. We've had a couple of gym sessions where we've got men, getting them into training, so they're starting to think about their health and their well-being. Besides, sitting out in the country and talking about the sites and linking them back to their people as well, like back to their traditional place, because that's what's the next thing that was missing, or what is missing, is our language. That's the missing link, because our culture's there, everything else is there, but it's that language. So now we're looking down the path of trying to where we can get our lingo back.
Great.
And we might get it all back, but as long as we can get so much of it back,
amazing.
Other than that, sorry.
You've had young boys and teenagers doing some of the gym stuff as well.
Yeah, we've got a lot of young fellas that are, learning on respect at home with their parents, what they can do better at home, what they can do better at school, when to walk away from stuff that they shouldn't be getting involved in. just trying to give them a bit of understanding what else is out there besides going down that path all the time.
Yes.
Because some of our people, they get caught in a cycle.
Mm.
And we try to break that cycle by giving them other opportunities on what they can look for to go down a different path, a healthier path, a better path, financials path, fitness, work, everything like that.
And I might in the link to the show notes put some links to some of the videos that we have, because there's been some great videos of some of the youth and teenagers, and even little things like them saying, I start to pick up and clean up a bit more at home. I'm helping my mum a bit more. Just some of their mindset changing through the discussions that they're having while they're working out and taking care of themselves.
Yeah, because we get the boys around and sit them down and have a talk to them, and we'll say, well, what did you do this week that was better than last week? Well, what have you improved on, or what do you see different from this week to last week? Well, I'm now helping mum clean up the house. I'm now helping mum vacuum clean. I'm now taking the rubbish out for mum. Or just little stuff like that. Where before they'll sit in their rooms on their laptops or computers, phones, whatever. Well, now they're getting up, they're helping around the house, doing the yard, all that type of stuff, and also, but starting to get them thinking about after school too. On besides just their footy, they need to start also putting their heads down at school with their education, so they can go into a good, decent job when the time comes.
So they can be straighty 180s as well, hey?
Yes.
And I know, part of the entrepreneurial spirit and the leadership spirit your dad had, is very present in all of you as his children. But I really see that in how you've stepped into Yakuway and some of the partnerships that we're starting to form with organizations like HMRI and Hunter Primary Care, and looking for ways how we can be a hub and supporting other organizations doing things as well, that it's not about just us and owning it like your dad would say, but what collaborations can we form?
Yeah, it's like I said before, and like Dad has just said it too, like you've got all these different things already there, and all it is just tapping into them all, where they're all working together to achieve that one goal. So you've got all these different organisations doing separate things, but when you can link into them and bring them together, just imagine what we can all achieve on the bigger scale if we're bringing all them different groups together, all them different types of brains, thinking caps in, and that's what we're sort of doing with Yakuway. You got Hunter Primary Care, and then you got the Hunter Medical Research Institute, who's linking in with us now. So that's slowly growing, and it's going to be good.
It is. And we recently held an event called Walking Together for Wellbeing, where we had a number of speakers from some of those organizations, as well as Vice Chancellor at the university, and lots of people just sharing how do we create wellbeing at work and in our communities. And, there was a very strong message there about people taking care of themselves, and then how do they give a hand up to others as well. And the importance of leaders thinking about not just how can I make $1 out of the people that work for me, but that they're actually part of my tribe. And so how do I ensure that they're thriving and that they're not too overwhelmed, too stressed? How do I take care of the people that are in my care?
Well, and the way I looked at that when I was, supervising in the mines there for a number of years, I treated everyone the same. So not one person got treated different. They all got treated the same respect. I spoke to them the same way, and I wasn't going to put them in any sort of danger at all, because then it comes back onto me. And when you look and you treat people the same and with respect, they're going to work. They want to work for you, and they want to do things for you. You know what I mean? But when you got some supervisors or some bosses want to go down a different path, well, then it doesn't work. So, but when you're looking after everyone as a group, as one family, like I say to them all the time, I say to my crew up there, I said, I'm with you fellas more than I am with my own family, so I'm going to treat you as my family.
Yes.
You are my family, because I see you more than I see my own family at home. So I want us all to go home safe and see them back to our own families after work. So we all got to look after one another at work. And if something's not right, we need to pull it up and say, hey, hang on, that's not right. And all it is to have that little conversation with someone. And it doesn't mean because having the conversation and pulling up about something doesn't mean they're jumping on you about anything. It's just that they bring it to your attention that maybe you need to look at this differently than doing it that way because you don't see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, awesome.
But yeah.
And I think lots of leaders could take a leaf out of that book. And certainly in the years I was at WorkCover and Safe Work, I saw that the best company cultures really didn't have a workplace safety culture. They just had a culture where they took care of each other. And so the byproduct of that was less incidents and injuries and those sorts of things. To kind of wrap it up, what do you hope for the future? What's something you're excited about for Yakuway that you'd love to see happen that we haven't yet created?
Well, with Yakuway, our goal is eventually to have our doors open where we're at Lake Macquarie 5 days a week, with our medical centre / wellbeing centre, looking after our community out that way. And, with the Hunter Primary Care there with us, with our MOU, spoken to them a number of times and, having after our GP access and stuff like that. So our people can go to the doctor at any time because they don't just get that one day or that day, you know what I mean? So if we're out there 5 days a week and having after hours GP access, well, that's the goal. And besides that is, what we can help to achieve them from going to the doctor. You know what I mean? By looking after what they're eating.
Yes,
and
the
start from the
preventative
inside
side.
out. Yeah, all about prevention.
Yes.
And eventually one day down the road, I'd like to have ice baths, a sauna, an oxygen chamber, all that type of stuff, just to start doing things differently and looking at things differently.
Yeah, I love that. And
go on, sorry.
No, you're right. And really, it is that whole holistic well-being and thinking about how can we infuse traditional medicine with Western medicine? How can we have doctors working aside maybe a spiritual healer? Can we have yarn and circles? Can we have weaving groups we talked about for women and some men's groups, trips to going on country, as well as some of the stuff we've been talking about with HMRI of having some deadly dreaming, which is also creating some videos and images and stories out on country that also elders that mightn't be able to travel can actually watch and immerse and remember some of their culture and help people with dementia to actually remember some of the things that maybe resonate with them that their mind might have lost a little bit of. So we are really looking at the whole life cycle, aren't we? And thinking about how can we create a wellbeing centre as opposed to a health or a medical centre that is disease driven. We really want it to be a place where people feel vibrant and thriving and love coming to, because they're like, I love coming here because I feel better.
But not only, but when they come there, they're coming to a community. You know what I mean? A community where people are sitting around having their yarns, all about life and about what can we do next. And get that information from them. And okay, well, this is what we've got from the community, the elders and the youth, and then we work on that. Like going back to foods, traditional days, our people never used to eat as much as we eat these days. So fasting is practically what our people done all their lives.
Yes,
we're too comfortable the way we live now. We all want to rug up and everything like that. Well, I hate the cold myself. I'm one of them. We never used to have hot water, so our people. So that's where the ice baths are coming. So they used to swim and wash in cold water day in and day out. And look back to the foods. They never ate as much as they had, like we do. Oh, there's a shop there. Let's pull in the shop and get a drink or get a bag of chips every time we go past one. Back then,
bread and gluten and things that bind.
We never had dairy. Wasn't in our system. We never had dairy.
Yes,
but now we've got dairy in us. You know what I mean? All them things, it's all there. It's just waiting for us to tap into and get it going.
Yeah. Well, it's an exciting future, and you know, one I'm looking forward to being part of and seeing and knowing that it's kind of like planting a tree you'll never get to sit under. We'll probably never see the true fruits of what's being created. And I hope Uncle Bill's up there feeling honoured and excited to see what his family and all of his grandchildren, great grandchildren, because he has many, are creating.
Oh no, I feel him when I'm at work all the time. I feel him. I sometimes call on him, and the old eagle flies around up there all the time. And that I know when I see the eagle, I know he's there. He's watching over me. And just one day, I wish I could have got it, but I was driving one of the trucks, and big eagle I was calling him. I was not calling him, but I was thinking about my father in my mind, and calling him about stuff that's going on, and hoping everything's all right and stuff like that. And the next minute, I'm just driving, looking straight ahead, and then a big eagle flies out the front of me truck, and like he was down pretty low, and then he just swooped up and went around, and I thought, oh, blew me away. Just stuff like that happens to me at work a number of times when I'm thinking about Dad, and so he's happy. He knows what we're doing. We're doing the right thing, and it's not for me, it's for everyone. And going back to the Alzheimer's stuff, that's where that's a good program that we're heading down, and we've got to get to a stage where people won't go for them checks. It's just like an everyday check for them. We need them to start thinking that path.
Yeah. Yeah, there's certainly some magic in your culture and history and heritage and the people you've grown up with. And I guess it feels normal to you because it was your family home. But I feel honoured to have had little pieces of that along the way, and to have had other elders from other countries as well actually support my learning. So I'm very grateful for that. I'd love you to just put you on the spot. What's maybe the biggest leadership lesson or lesson that you've ever had in your career, or from your dad or your mum or upbringing, or just from law in general? What would be one lesson that you'd like to share with leaders as a takeaway?
It's just respect everyone. Have respect, show respect. And what I mean by that is treat everyone as equal. Don't treat anyone differently because they look different or they do things different. We're all, like I said before, we're all here together. We're not here long. Everyone thinks we're here long, but we're not. So while we're here, we need to do the best we can while we can for one another and for ourselves. So I just think it's have respect for one another, and you love one another. And I don't mean you love one another, but you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And I have to say, every time I spend time with you, and especially whenever I see your mum, Gloria, or your sisters and your family, I always feel that love. And, I recently lost my dear dad as well. And I got messages from your entire family of love and support and care. And so it's not just token words. I really appreciate that you all act on what you say as well. And that to me is true leadership, is when you say something and you actually do it. And a lot of what you all do as a family is done behind the scenes and is not done to get on the media or something like that. It's not done for any posing reasons. It's done because you all genuinely care, and that's a beautiful thing.
It's about what we need to leave behind for the next generation, because life, it's not getting easier. It's getting harder, and everything's going through the roof. So whatever we can do now to put our next generation in a better situation than what we're in, well, yeah, we've got to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for joining me today and having a bit of a yarn and sharing your story.
Yep.
Wonderful.
I'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.